Alrighty y'all, welcome back. My name is Oliver the Shoe Man, and today we got a really cool customization coming up. We're gonna be doing to these boots. These are brand new Redwing boots. They are the model 2272 with, I believe it's called the Super Sole. It is a Goodyear welted boot. There's no stitching on the welt, but basically we're going to be completely taking apart the boot, re-welting it with black leather storm welts. We're going to do a leather midsole and red wedge soles. We're also going to be adjusting this. We're going to cut down the top. You see right here, see that hole? Well, somehow these ended up in a store that someone decided it'd be a good idea to clip one of those alarm system things to it. So now there's a hole. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna completely take apart the top, lower it right to where that line is, and then put it back together, and you won't be able to tell that part was lowered. But basically, they're gonna end up looking something like this. So you see, we did lower the top. We re-welted the boots with black leather storm welts, red stitching as per customer's request, and then the red Vibram Christie soles. So as you can see, these are two completely different boots, and I'm going to show you how we could go from this to this. Alrighty, so these super soles, they're kind of a pain to take off, but with enough efforts and patience, you can. So basically, I'm just going to score, basically just have to cut off the sole. And like I said, just take some patience. Patience and a really sharp knife. Now, obviously, with sharp knives, you gotta be careful. It is really easy to cut yourself. With one slip the blade, can go your whole finger. Don't want that. That was the pliers slipping, not the knife. Thank God. So, there we go. Now this is, I'm not too sure exactly the process they use to take this apart, or not take it apart, put it together, but it is, I don't know, honestly. I'm sure there's a video out there how they do it. Probably just glue, heat molded, whatever, but it's a good durable sole. I just finished resoling another pair of these, but those ones were pretty much thrashed and gone to hell and back. But I was able to bring them back. I don't have any pictures or videos of that, unfortunately. That one took a little bit. These are always pain. But I'm willing to go through the pain. So, what you see here, coming up in the middle, you see, so as the sole's pulling away, you see there's a cavity there, and this cavity is filled in, not filled in, but attached to the sole itself. So somehow, when they mold it all together, the sole material fills up that cavity. Usually cork is supposed to fill that cavity, and this is usually the pain in the butt portion, trying to remove the filler. But sometimes we get lucky, like today, and it just peels out. heels that always give me an issue. I think just because it's thicker. It likes to hold on more. I don't necessarily know, but it's my dog. He likes to play. We have 2 dogs. An English bulldog named Potato and a cattle dog named Andy. And they like to play. Unfortunately, Andy is a little crybaby sometimes, and he lets the little bulldog boss him around. And he yelps because, I don't know, her teeth are hurt him, I guess. I don't know, but they play pretty rough, and I don't understand. She can take it more than he can. Oh, and now he just came over here. He's crying. Look at it. Look at this. What's the matter, Andy? Did she hurt you? Did she bite you? Are you upset? It's okay, Andy. It is okay. Life will go on. Yeah, I'm being pretty stupid with this knife. I know. Kids, don't do what I'm doing. But you know, sometimes these soles are such a pain, like this one is right now, that sometimes you have to cut towards yourself to even get a good angle. It is frustrating. Alright, there we go. I'm doing it again, aren't I? And almost there. There we go. You can kind of see how that's where the welt started, and this is kind of raised up. And this has some sort of gummy, gushy pad or something. I don't know, but that's... And so what we have is our welt and the inside of the boots. So next step is to take this welt off, which it's made just like a Goodyear welt. Actually, let me grab, there's a piece of the sole that's left on the inside. It's gonna get in the way. Look at that. All right, now I'm just going to kind of pull the welt away and see if I could slip my knife on the inside and cut the threads. I don't know how, but right here, it's kind of hard. Oh, it's not hard. You see that rip right there? This one, that's how the boot came. So I'll go ahead and put some glue on that to bring it back together and reinforce it. Okay, let's see if I can separate it. If I can cut, there we go. Alright, so now all we gotta do is just go along, cutting all of the threads. All right, now we have this welt completely off. And that is trash. Now, what we gotta do from here, from this point, we could re-welt it, just following those same holes that the original welt was in, clean up the threads, but it was like this on the other boot too. On the inside, see how that's separating from the footbed? There's a portion when Goodyear welted shoes are made. You have your footbed, and then you have a piece. It's like a nylon piece that kind of creates a 45 degree all the way around the shoe. And so once you have that 45 degree kind of L, the uppers come up to it on top like this, and then those two pieces get stitched all the way around with the welt. But since that plastic piece is coming away from the footbed, we can't stitch to that because it's not holding on to anything structurally. So what I'm going to do is remove that piece from the footbed, put a brand new piece of gemming all the way around, and that will give us a strong foundation to sew our new welt on. These are little staples. They put staples all the way around the shoe before the welt is stitched on. And it kind of holds everything into place so that it doesn't move when they stitch it. So to be able to remove the gemming, I'm gonna have to obviously cut all these staples. And so this is what I mean by it's a pain in the butt, because they put a lot of staples in here. And you have to remove all the staples. Like I said, to get to the gemming, or to at least to replace the gemming, because the staples are into here, and if you leave them in here, you may risk the customer feeling them poke on the inside of the shoe, which is a big no-no. Don't want that. So basically what I'm doing, I'm going in between the leather and the plastic gemming with these little wire cutters or pinchers, whatever you want to call them, and cutting the staples, and then pull the uppers away. Yeah, there is like no gemming in the back here whatsoever. Look at that. I'll show you when I get a better chance or better view. But and I think most of what's holding this together is the glue, which is why they don't stitch anything to the welt. Alrighty. So it is late. I'm sorry. I'm not at my 100% functionality. I'm still here because work's got to get done. Just right now, yep, I just got poked by another staple. I got poked by a staple. Don't want that. I don't want a customer getting poked by a staple. Okay, so here we go. We have the uppers. This is the lining. That's the steel toe. At this stage, you could actually remove this if you wanted to. For those curious about how to remove steel toes, I have another video on my page, strictly designed to show you guys how I go ahead and remove that. But I'm gonna go ahead and leave that because that's what the customer wants. Here is the heel counter, and then this piece right here that you see the stitching on, that is the gemming. Now, as you can see, when the uppers come onto it, it gets stitched, but here in the back, there's nothing. It's just the footbed, and then right over here, you can see this is all torn to bits. So I'm gonna I gotta replace that plastic piece with an actual gemming, which this is just glued down to the footbed. How can you stitch something to that? I can't. Okay, it's just falling apart. When it comes to shoes, you want to use as little plastic as you can, because over time plastic bends, flexes as you walk with the shoe like normally, and then it starts to break and crack, and that compromises the foundation and the structure of the shoe. So I'm just gonna go ahead and remove. These are the threads that were holding the welt, the gemming, and the footbed together. Obviously it's not holding anything, so we gotta clean it up. Here we have that little tear. I just took a Q-tip with a little bit of glue, shove it in there. Let that dry a little bit and flatten it out. And then once it gets flattened out with the hammer and color, you won't be able to tell that it was like that. Now on the inside, so right along here, you can see it's kind of torn. This is right where the welt gets stitched to. So obviously you can't stitch to that and expect it to hold. So on the back side, in between the lining and the outer leather, we put this piece back here, hammer it down, and so when the welt gets stitched on, this piece will hold it and structurally support that so that the welt doesn't pull away from the shoe. That is Miss Potato messing around with her little stick. Miss Potato. Oh my goodness. Oh, then Andy's getting all jealous, aren't you, Andy? Oh, you're a good boy. Miss Potato, what are you doing? What are you doing? So this is my roll of gemming. And so basically we'll put glue on this side and glue on the footbed, and then when it comes down, gets glued down, it kind of makes this gets folded out, and you can see it made that 90-degree, and that is the portion that you stitch the outer leather to. So I'm going to cut out a piece long enough for the shoe, measure it. Alrighty. See, cut away from myself that time. that down there. And at this point, what we're going to do is just put glue all the way around. I sanded the footbed to make sure it's nice and clean. We'll go ahead and put some glue around the edges. That way, the gimming has a, you want, I'm sorry, like I said, it's late. I'm not at my full capacity, you can't really think right now. But you want the gimming to have a strong bond to the footbed. Because if that comes unglued, then you have the uppers that come away and just, it changes the shape. So we want to make sure we have a good, strong bond. Alrighty, we are set. The glue is dry for the gimming. Let's see if I can get you guys maybe a little bit higher. That way you can take a look at what I'm doing. I'm working on this. Hold on, I think I have a tripod somewhere. Hey, would you look at that? I found myself my tripod. And now y'all can actually see what's happening. So, there's two sides, the long side and the short side. The short side goes outside of the boot, and the inside, the long side goes inside. So I'm just gonna go along, stick it along the outsides of the footbed. Now we've got the gimming on, and we are ready to glue everything back and stitch a new welt to the shoe. But before that, I'm gonna go ahead and take care of the top portion here. A lot easier to do this type of work when the soles are off the shoe. It's lighter. Okay, see. Okay, yeah. I'm gonna cut that inside portion. Now this top binding here, I don't know exactly what it's called, how they do it. Well, I know how they do it, I don't know what it's called. So basically, you take your leather, you go ahead, run it along the top, right? You stitch it. And then you fold it over and back around like that. Run your second stitch, and that's what that stitch is right there. So basically we're going to do the same thing, however I'm going to replace this top binding. I tried to salvage the other one when I took it apart, but it was just started ripping and it wasn't good. So it's alright, I'm going to go ahead and replace it. But basically I'm going to use my finger as a guide to mark exactly the same shape and where I need to cut the leather. See that line? We'll go ahead and cut that with a razor blade. Grab this leather is a little bit thicker, so I don't risk ruining my blade by hitting the metal. So I'm gonna see if I can get a good angle for you guys. So just very carefully, very slowly follow that line, adjusting as you cut. Now this takes some practice to make your lines smooth, but you should be able to get it. There's a Redwing stamp right here. We just missed it. However, we are gonna have to put a stitch through it, unfortunately, because that's just how it plays out. Because that stitch right there, that top stitch right there, that is holding on the inside there. That's that stitch. So to be able to replicate that, we're gonna have to do the same thing. And unfortunately, along that line is the Redwing logo. But I don't think it looks too bad. Last little bit here. There we go. Now I just gotta go back, cut all the way through. I'm sorry if you guys can't really see what I'm doing. I'm not too focused on the camera right now. I just want to make sure that this cut is clean. And also, so I don't cut myself. That's the biggie. You replace the boot, you can't replace your finger. So, there's that piece. Cut off the lining and everything. And there's the top. Now I'm gonna go ahead and sand this, because the cleaner you have this, the cleaner the binding is gonna look. Top's cleaned up, all even. We got our new leather binding. I thinned out one portion or one edge of the leather. That way when it's folded over, it's not so bulky. And basically all we're going to do is hold it parallel to the top of the boot and then run a stitch all the way along it. Now at this point, the color of the thread doesn't matter because it's going to be folded over and covered up. So I'm just gonna take my time and make sure that all the stitches are near the top and make sure they're clean and clean even line, because you don't want waves in your binding. And around the curves, kind of hard to achieve that. So I kind of go one stitch at a time, readjusting the boots and readjusting the leather. Alright, so we are now stitching on storm welt. And I am being careful to make sure to go in the same holes as the original plastic welt that they've stitched on, because you don't want to damage the upper by putting too many holes in it, and that'll cause the welt to start separating. And you don't want that, because once that starts to separate, then you are pretty much screwed. You have to start all over. It's a big pain in the butt. But you see all these holes right here? You go into each and every single one of them. So you gotta line up the new welt to whatever hole you're going into. Go through it. You come through the gemming, which is that white piece you see there. You take this side, loop it on the needle. This has just got a little hook on the end. You have a loop now. You pull this side through, and then you pull the inside, and then pull nice and tight. All right, so we got the welt stitched on. We've got cork and a piece of leather inside to fill the cavity. Leather kind of gives the foot some more support. I've seen other colors do it, and I like doing that with some of my jobs. We got a thick leather midsole. This is going to be kind of tight, so I'm going to try to do it this way actually, just to make sure I can center it on the midsole. Oof. Alrighty, I think we got it. And where is my hammer? I lost my hammer. Where is it? I've got different stations I work at, so I bring my hammer around with me. Maybe I should buy more hammers so I can have one of these stations. We got pretty close right there, but we managed to make it fit. So we gotta trim it, stitch it, and we're ready for the soles. Alrighty, y'all. We are just about wrapped up with this project. Now, we wanted to do black edges, but we didn't want to blacken the red soles. We have that contrast. So I taped off the edges, or taped off the red sole, dyed the edges black, put a buff on them, and now we're ready to pull the tape off. And this is probably one of the most satisfying parts of this job. Now here we're gonna see if I tape it off correctly. We're gonna see if there's black parts of the sole that are red. Sorry. We're going to see if the parts of the red sole got black dye on it, or if I taped off some of the leather, it'll just be natural. So hopefully I got it all right. And hopefully you guys can see this. Oh yep, some of it bled right there, see that? I'll still be able to fix it. But look at that. This tape, man, I don't know, sometimes it just doesn't want to cooperate and do its job. Okay, there you go. All right. So you see some of that black dipped into there. You see some of the natural parts of the leather, and also black got into there. I'm gonna go ahead and fix these little spots, clean them up, and then we got a little bit of a surprise for you guys that we're gonna be adding on to these boots. Got these all cleaned up and looking beautiful. Now, you may be wondering what these are. So we do custom embroidery here. Well, not me, my wife does it. She can custom design and make pretty much any patch that you would want. So when this customer contacted us from Hawaii, yes, he sent these from Hawaii to Tennessee. He wanted the soles done and he wanted some custom patches. So this is what it looks like. This one says, I'm not gonna try to pronounce it in the right pronunciation. It's supposed to say never stress. And this one says Yesa Blessa or something. And this one's like never stressa. I think it's pretty cool. And then she did the Hawaii flag and then American flag, so it kind of goes together. So I'm gonna get these are glued in place. Once they dry, I'm gonna go ahead and stitch them on, and then we will be done with these projects, or with this project. Alrighty, y'all, we are done with these boots. This project, this cool customization, these Redwing boots. These are, for those that are interested, style 2272, 2272s. And these what were on there was this is what was on there originally. With the way they make these, like I was saying earlier, is they just have the shoes with that plastic well, I believe, I'm not too sure. And then this is all liquid, and they just shoot it into a mold, and it gets heat pressed to the shoe. So that's why you have all the cavity being filled with that material. Same thing with this, but correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure that's how they make these. They got that foam rubber padding in the back. That's pretty cool. But these soles, they give good comfort. You don't really need a shank, because previously with this style sole with the heel, you do need it because they have that arch area that can collapse, and having that shank in there, it supports your foot and makes the boots more comfortable. But the wedge sole is one that's going to be the most comfortable for pretty much any boots. I know that some boots with the heels can be super comfortable. It's just up to preference. But normally, if customers are complaining about comfort, I normally push them towards the wedge sole. We finished it off with those pretty cool patches, custom patches my wife designs and embroidered with our embroidery machine. I was able to stitch them on. So, oh yeah, and we did the cut down. Remember, because on the outside somewhere there was a hole from like a store that they punched the little safety security thing, and there's a big old hole in there, so we had to cut it down. So there you are. Thank you guys for joining me on this really cool project. I hope to do many more. If you have any questions or comments, concerns, if you guys need any custom embroidery done, go ahead and contact us. I'll have a few links in the description of where you can get a hold of us through Instagram, Facebook, or our website. You can email us. Like, subscribe, and comment what you think. Thank you all. Have a good day. God bless you. And my wife also does laser engraving. So if you need anything custom designed, laser engraved, she cut this out with wood and did the engraving. I'll include her social media down in the description too, so go check her out.